Out here in Cardiff. Two semi-finalists already decided. Fong Pang Chow from Chinese Taipei. No problem at all getting rid of Joel Younger from Australia. He really was overwhelmed. Much tighter match, though, between the jumping bean from Mexico, Ismael Paez. What a match that was. He squeezed it in the end 11-9, but only just against Peter Nielsen from Denmark. So Paez and Chow are through. And coming up, Rodolfo Luat of the Philippines against the great Earl Strickland from the USA. And as we've just discussed, Corey Jewell against Steve will be our feature match. That's second on the show table tonight. This is the way the draw is working out. You can see that the winner of the Corey Jewell-Steve Davis match will meet Fong Pang Chow. Paez already through, as we said. He will meet the winner of the other quarter-final tonight, Luat against Strickland. And who knows what will happen. I wonder how the final will pan out. Indeed, how the semi-finals will pan out. Let's just find out from Steve. How do you think this will go? I mean, let's not
really is fascinating.
Beating around the bush.
No, it's fascinating. If you look at the draw, there's one match in particular this evening, Rodolfo Luat versus Earl Strickland. That is the match of the draw.
Right.
The winner of this tournament may well come from that match, but neither of them really want to play each other. And that Rodolfo Luat's been the dark horse of this tournament. He's come through very quietly. Earl Strickland hasn't come through quietly, but he's got so much knowledge and experience. Yeah. Expect fireworks there. It's going to be a match of great tension, great knowledge, a lot of kick shots, escaping from the snookers. I'm looking forward to that match immensely.
Both matches tonight do promise to be outstanding. As Steve said, it's Strickland up first. He really is quite a player. Love him or hate him, you certainly can't ignore him. This is what the man himself has to say.
I'm Earl Strickland. They call me the Pearl.
Rodolfo Luat is the last remaining Filipino, and unfortunately, I've got him. And obviously, he could win the event too.
Unbelievable. Le Pearl on Sung. A terrific performance.
I played very well yesterday. I could have a good chance at this event.
$1 Million Man.
Yes, indeed. We are all set to go then in our first quarter-final of the evening. Remember, it's Luat against Strickland. Promises to be quite a night. Remember, Steve Davis match after this one. Let's go to MC John McDonald.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cardiff International Arena. Matchroom Sport proudly present the Victor Chandler World Pool Championships. Quarterfinals, race to 11, your referee, Michaela Tag. Well, let's welcome the players then. Firstly, from the Philippines, he's the Camel Tour champion. Let's welcome Boy Samson, Rodolfo Luat. From the USA, the best of the best. 100 titles so far, including 5 World Championships. The one, the only, Earl, the Pearl Strickland!
There must be some kind of way out of here. Say the jungle to the lead.
So, just before the action gets underway, Steve, the interesting thing for me here is Strickland and his relationship with this crowd. Earlier on in the week, there was a little bit of friction, he was getting involved, and they now love him.
Well, he was playing an English guy that day, and perhaps the occasional thing that somebody said in the crowd made him get a bit frustrated. He's got a few fans in tonight. It'll be a different night tonight. Expect to see some marvellous, marvellous players. The players heat up in this tournament. But from now on, also expect to see a few basic errors creeping in as we get closer to the finishing line of the tournament.
And just briefly, what sort of match do you think this will be? Is it going to be
race to 11 racks?
Rack for rack all the way?
Well, no, very much depends on the break-off, as Earl was saying this afternoon. It depends on if this corner ball goes in, how things can pan out.
Foul?
Well, if it depends on the break-off, Earl could be off to a great start.
OK, well, let's go to the action, shall we, then? The worst possible start for Luat. Strickland is now at the table, and commentary on this match comes from Sid Waddell and Jim White.
What a prospect this match holds here. And look at Earl right away in at the table. But Sid, a real contrast in personalities here. Similar styles, both imaginative, aggressive, but you can't compare their personalities. Strickland, he lives on the edge.
And his opponent, a phlegmatic, quiet, but he's a cracker. They hang out together, the Filipinos, under the watchful eye of Efren Reyes. Alex Pagulayan hangs out with them too, and they've been, I think, pumping up Luat for this one. Earl needs no pumping up as he sets about the run through from ball in hand.
And what a start for Strickland. In at the table with the cue ball in hand. And look at the position of the balls. You'd certainly have to expect Earl to be able to clear up from here. And he knows how important it is to get off to a good start against Luat. These two know each other inside out. They've played in just about every corner of the world. They've ran into each other, and I'll tell you what, Sid, there's not a lot to live on between them.
Well, Earl said the ones he could remember, it was too zip to him. But I think there was a long track record that told a different story. He bobbled that one.
Not a good sign for Strickland, an open pot like that.
Luat from that cradle of pool talent, Angeles City in the Philippines.
Well, they call him Little Samson.
Yes, and he could be cutting Earl's hair.
Slight of build, but with immense talent. And as Earl Strickland has already alluded to, there's always a Philippine at the business end of a major event.
Absolutely. Men of genius. And look out for their kick shots that pot. Strickland straight-faced as the Filipino takes first blood.
1-0, Rodolfo Luat. He opens the first here. It's a race to 11. And he'll be breaking off in the second rack, Sid, and he'll be looking to correct what he did in the opener. Obviously, a little too much adrenaline, but look at Earl Strickland. Again, get used to that look. You're going to see it all night.
Okay, corral look. No place for water pistols. This, the World Championship in Cardiff. We've had all sorts of fairy tales and drama, and the fun's just started, folks. 100-odd titles, major titles, Strickland, 5 World Championships. The best on the planet, said Mike Massey to me about
Rodolfo
4 years
Luat
ago.
break, leading by 1 rack to 0.
And for 15 years, Jim, he had been #1 in 9-ball.
So many good young players coming up the ranks now, though, Sid. To be #1 in the world, you've got to be proving it day in and day out.
No shot in the 2, don't look like.
You know, Rodolfo got one off the break, but as you said, doesn't look like there's anything easy, so it'll be just a defensive shot from him. But the break so big in this game of 9-ball, as it has been right from the outset when this tournament began. Anyone can be competitive if they got a big serve.
Good analogy, son. It's not really that, well, physique of like little Alex Pagulayan and Bustamante and Reyes. So Filipinos are not enormous bruisers, but coordination of hitting, particularly the break, is phenomenal.
Well, he wants this to stop. Boy, is that ever a careless shot from Rodolfo there. I think he might find himself in a bit of trouble here, Sid, if Strickland can't pot this. He knew he overhit that as soon as he hit it. Look at the look. He's in trouble in his next visit.
Long grass.
Well, again, that could have been a lot tougher than it is. Strickland not happy with his effort, but a lot of fans out here this evening for both of these terrific players.
Well, sticking it up here, although it's a very long travel here before the hit for Earl.
Well, not only that, even though he's left the 2, virtually impossible to get position on the 3, but look at Strickland digging into that cue ball.
Gets a bobble and let him in. Well, he can't give any gifts to this bloke, can he, Jim?
No, he can't. That's the second one already. But the way he played that made that pot real tough. Now, even though, again, he's left a shot for Rodolfo, not much angle to get that cue ball on the other side of the table. So if he does attack from here, he will have to try and bank that 3.
Very highly thought of Luat.
You can see how much he cheated the pocket there, spun the white out. You never would have thought he could have got to there even. He's given himself half a chance now if he does want to try and slice that into the corner. Not the easiest of shots. It's still early days, so both players wanting to settle into this one, get the nerves composed.
Beautiful shot. How is he on the pink, Jim?
Looking pretty. Great start from Luat here. If he can pin Strickland to his chair for a few racks, that'll really put him in good stead. We've already seen a couple early mistakes from Earl the Pearl.
Crowd transfixed. They are well aware of the high caliber of both these players as we near the final stages of the World Championship. Oh, delicate hold on the cue. Follow with lots of topspin.
And Strickland applauding that shot.
Love him or hate him, Strickland. He is a connoisseur of the game and of other people's play, even when he's under the cosh.
And he's also one of the players that they all come out to watch, fans and players alike. Right now, he's doing the one watching.
And hearing everyone raise, schooling young kids from Wales, coaching guys like Alex Pagaline, even advising them on diet a couple hours before a match. He's been eating the right stuff, this lad. This for 2-zip.
And 2-zip it is. Luat vaults in front here. He'll be breaking in the 3rd rack. And just the sort of start that he would have wanted, Sid. Keeping Strickland in his chair, and even better, he's had a couple unforced errors from the Pearl.
And look at the control on the white here as he sent the red down there. He was in great position on the pink after it. Lovely crossfield shot.
And Rodolfo already preparing himself. You'll see very little emotion from him. He's very aggressive, as are all the Filipino players. And all of them possess a terrific break.
Rodolfo Luat to break, leading by 2 racks to 0.
He was one of the bunch that scalped the Americans in Makiti City some months ago when 8 top Americans took on 8 Filipinos, and only Archer got through the first round. He is some player.
Well, can he get through to enough of this one ball? I think he can. And it certainly looks like it. All he's got to do is try and avoid contact with those balls in the center of the table. You can see he can get through. He's going to try and spin this one and miscontacting those balls. Well, in fact, he's playing this off the cushion. Got to get over for the 3. Is he hard enough? Well, he'll bank this. He'll bank this into the same pocket he just played the 1.
Didn't look 100% happy with the land out, Jim.
Just bank it back into the same corner, Sid, and you can see the pink 4. Won't have to do anything too special with the white to get position on the 4.
Oof. Missed it, but I think he's run at least half ball safe here.
I don't think Earl can see enough of that to clip it in. If not, again, it's just going to be a containing shot. And there's confirmation of that. So he's just got to hold the cue ball on that cushion Try and hide it behind the 9. Or he double kissed it. Now, has he gotten lucky here? I don't know if he intended that double kiss.
No, he waved the cue. But I think it's safe. Minus anything safe when a Filipino player thinks about the kick out.
The best in the world at this shot.
Don't be surprised if he finds a pocket for it.
Earl, if he can see this, he'll try and bank it into the top right corner. Hold position on that side for the pink 4.
Trail 2-zip. Stuck it in the jaws. Oh, yet another gift. That's 3 gifts. Can't do it against this man.
Yeah, the last thing Earl wanted to do was dig himself a hole here. Luat will help him fill it in.
Deep 6 time if Earl doesn't watch what he's doing.
Now here's where you want to be about 6'6", not 5'2" like Luat. It's going to be difficult, very awkward bridging here.
But look how beautifully poised he is.
That was a much better shot than he made it look.
Strickland applauds.
Now just position onto the 7, which shouldn't prove too difficult. And once again, Luat will have this rack at his mercy.
Playing with about nearly 2 feet of cue beyond the bridge. Totally in control of the wood.
9-ball, not a lot different than any other sport. If you can avoid those unforced errors, you know you're going to be competitive in any match.
Picture perfect position. Drawing gently. Snidge of an angle here. Things looking sick for Big Strick.
And they are 3-0 to Rodolfo Luat. It's a race to 11, but right now he is in complete command of this match.
Luat of the Philippines.
And real cause for concern for Strickland at the moment. He's 3-0 down and not much going his way. And there was a lot of concern earlier on. Corey Duell nearest us there, Earl just on the left, and you can see Sharon Tokley, the tournament director, and there's Rodolfo Luat and our head referee, Michaela Tab. They're all having a look at the rack here. They're just checking to make sure that everything is tied up with the rack. The balls are all frozen. The players are happy with the way the balls are racking. Strickland is always so concerned with the rack.
Point being that if it's not dead right, the fluke element comes in and guys get balls too easily, and with win at the break, that can upset the natural progress of play.
Well, Earl, the one thing that he doesn't want to see, Sid, and he's mentioned it time and time again, he doesn't like seeing players get out there and knock in 5-6 racks on the spin. He wants to try and keep it a game of skill and take the big break out of it, which may or may not appease some people. Nothing down here for Luat, though, so Strickland with a look.
Aggressive option.
Yeah, what a shot there from Earl. He knows he's got to try and get his way back into this. And by knocking in shots like this.
Up against a class act in his opponent. So he's going to need some of his own high-octane talent here. Low right, draws back. Nicely positioned on the pink. Great thing about him, Jim, even though he's 3-zip down, if he sees chances on the table, he never hesitates, this bloke.
No, and he has been breaking as well as anybody here. He can string them together. That 3-0 deficit that Strickland is facing right now, that can disappear so fast.
Davis practicing up there. Can he possibly continue this cruising and bruising through the top players, beating champions? He's playing Corey Duell.
And there's Corey Duell. As I said, many players come out to watch Earl Strickland. One of the players that they can all learn from. You never know what he's going to show you.
Bit of gentle draw there to give him an augmented angle into the 9. 8 rather first. Deep screw. And a bit of right. Drawing into the cush to get it. Is he happy?
Well, not as easy as it could have been. Earl would still expect to get this, but you can see his reaction.
He wanted another 4 inches. Very thin feather here. Gets it.
Vital that he got that 9, and get it he did. Strickland finally off the mark, and the Stars and Stripes can finally come out. 1-3. Strickland will be breaking in the 4th rack. And this 9 slithering down that cushion. And Earl obviously relieved when he saw that disappear. Now let's see what he can do with the rack here. And first order of business, needs a ball off the break.
And you mentioned this in a previous game, Jim. Sometimes you have to experiment. If the rack is not kind to them, you'll find them moving across the head string for a different angle.
Yes, they will play around with where they attack the diamond shape, grouping of balls with, and also the speed with which they play the break. Those are the 2 things they'll vary. You can see everything touching.
3-1, race to 11.
Oh, he nailed that break, and he knows it. He hit that break good. That white ball didn't move. Actually took a little pace out of it too, Sid. So it wouldn't surprise me if he gets another look, he'll probably hit it a little harder. But that cue ball did exactly what he wanted it to.
Safety. Looking for the long grass down around the 9.
Well, not Rodolfo's best shot. I think Earl can get through to this 1.
And the match in a much broader context than man-to-man this. The Filipinos generally regarded on block as the top lads in the world now, like Reyes and Bustamante. So it'll be one up for Yankee pride. Although he always tells me he's not a Yankee. I'm a rebel, says Earl. He'll be looking to play for Uncle Sam as well as the Bucks and the pride here.
Got to miss a double kiss. That was the problem there. Unfortunately, Earl's not really got that 1 ball where he wanted it, even though he has hidden the 1 or the cue ball from it. Still a big chance here for Rodolfo to just squeegee that cue ball around that 2 and knock that 1 in.
Squeegee it is. Squeegeed round. Not saying he's going to take Earl to the cleaners, but he's quite capable of it.
Affords him the opportunity to, again, maintain the initiative here. He's got no shot on the 2. And the safety isn't straightforward here either, Sid.
This a race to 11. Replacing the last 4. Open the door there.
Yeah, he's left Earl a shot here. That was a tough safe. Not really one of Rodolfo Luat's strengths. Earl taking a lot of time, gathering himself, focusing himself here. Big pot, because the cue ball is going to finish on the 3. No work here, said the natural angle. Taking the cue ball off that bottom cushion. Nicely onto the pink 4. This should be 3-2.
Known as the Road Warrior when he was about 18 in Louisville, Kentucky, playing for really big bucks. Strickland. In and out of the cush. Sixth in the middle. Draws it across. Brown, bottom left.
He's probably the most intense player in America, Earl Strickland. He's so highly strung. He's like a golf ball tightly wound.
Or a tennis racket with the strings tense. 3-2. And a crowd favorite, not just with American supporters.
Well, now he's got 2 flags up. One for each rack. He's slotted on his side of the scoreboard. Breaking off with a chance to get back on level terms with Rodolfo Luat. Let's see if Earl alters anything from his initial break. He broke from the left-hand side, about half speed. Let's see if he does the same thing or decides to change it up a little.
So a change-up is a phrase other places than baseball,
Rack
Jim.
6, Earl Strickland to break, trailing by 2 racks
He's
to
back
3.
in the same spot. He's having a quick look just to make sure he's happy with everything. And now, for me, I want to see if he hits these about half speed the way he did the first time.
A slight element of luck, as Jim has suggested in the break-off, but a lot of organisation. You work out exactly the line in, and particularly the pace.
No, he didn't change an awful lot, and he can't believe it. But he didn't really change much from his opening break, Sid, and he got the same result.
We're thinking about a change of side then.
Well, I'd be willing to bet you something will change if Strickland gets to break off again in this one. 0 for 2. Again, he's not left Rodolfo Luat anything to get started. Now, possible billiard here onto the 5. Try and pot the 5. There he goes. He actually made 2 balls there, got the 5.
Yes. The
And
imagination
the 6-2.
of the Filipinos. The main factor in the game. They produce shots that baffle the best.
Rodolfo's very imaginative. And as I said, like all the Filipino players, they take the bull by the horns. They're going to go down, they're going to go down firing.
Well, step in, Earl. Nostrils rattling.
Ralph Suke up there, former world champion, just sat in behind Earl Strickland. He's been relegated to the cheap seats thanks to Steve Davis.
Earl looking good with this layout for 3 apiece. Below 2. Not much work to do getting on the red 3 either. Oh!
Now, his shoulder move there. Earl's not really settled into this one yet. Watch his shoulder. Look at the shoulder go. The head came up, everything. Now that movement, that's fine, but you've got to make sure you've struck the white first. Got to get
Mr. Pot and Mr. Line into the cush. So Earl's trying to give a gift.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, that miss. Inexcusable. And Rodolfo wants to burn it into his memory banks, and no better way than complete the clearance here. Go 4-2 and possibly even more.
Checks into the cush. Good, nice angle on the pink 4 to stay in that area for the 7.
He'll try and bring it back across the table, play the 7 into the center, Sid. You can see nothing to have to worry about now with the white. Earl Strickland basically gave this to Rodolfo on a silver platter.
Yes. Earl looking sick as a chip.
And this also helps Luat grow in confidence if he feels like he can get away with mistakes. 9 down, 4-2 to Rodolfo Luat. It's a best of 21 for a place in the semifinals, and Luat in the driver's seat. Lots for that man to think about. He's in a cauldron right now, and the heat is on. 4-2 down, Sid. What sort of response can Strickland come up with?
Rodolfo Luat to break, leading by 4 racks to 2.
As he's had 2 goes at the break-off that haven't been productive. As you've suggested all along, Jim, there comes a time when you have to experiment by changing your angle of entry into the pocket. So he's just going to sit and hope. Woof!
What about that break? Cannonading break there from Rodolfo Luat. Look at that. Whoa.
Hands, knees, bumps a daisy into the shot. Well, Rodolfo is not going to have to experiment on the head string.
Not far enough. He needed that white further over the right-hand side because the 3, this is just too tough a shot. There's no way he'll be slicing this one down the corner. It almost looks like his only shot here is to run for cover. Possibility of taking the cue ball. If he does bank the 3 down towards the 9, you never really want to do that because you never know what you're going to leave, but the cue ball could run into this area. If he could get it back behind that green or the orange 5, that's certainly one option. I'll tell you what, he may even decide to attack from here. And in doing that, Sid, he's got 2 options. Either a corner bank, which is what it looks. Oh, yeah, but he concentrated on the 3 there, and I'm not sure he's got it under cover. He wanted to get that 3 behind the 9, and I don't know whether or not he's done it. I'd rather have seen him play the shot that I selected, where he could have at least played both balls into safe.
Disappointed, because Earl can hit this thin enough to pot. No, decides with safety himself.
Earl shaking his head. I don't know whether or not he's left that 3 out. If he isn't, then the only reason Earl will be shaking his head, well, there's the reason Earl's shaking his head right there. I'm surprised there, Sid. I really half expected Earl to take that shot on. This isn't his game. He's a pure potter, Earl Strickland.
Well, with 2 sorts of problems then. Break problems, Earl. But that looks a bit of a prezzy.
This is what we talked about. These unforced errors. That shot wasn't easy, but Luat would have thought he was going to get it.
2 cushions. Draws the ball nicely. The orange 5 might have a little bit of work to do getting to the brown 7.
Lots of angle here. You know, Strickland's got a pretty unique stance, too. He bends both legs. You don't always see that from a lot of players. We're going to have a look. When he cues up normally, by bending both of those legs, he takes a lot of pressure off his back. Because Earl plays a lot of golf, too, and you never want to run into back problems. And they've got something to cheer about here because Earl Strickland's going to be putting his 3rd rack on the board.
Is 10? 4-3.
And as this match promised, it's going to be a fine line separating these two. And finally poised 4-3 to the Filipino number 3, Rodolfo Luat.
So, is Earl going to experiment on this break, Jim?
I think you're going to see him possibly come over from the other side. I can't believe he's going to break from the left again. He's had 2 good cracks at it and no success. And Rodolfo Luat still thinking about that missed 3.
Rack 8, Earl Strickland to break.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sid, you can color me surprised. I really thought he'd have gone to the other side. The only thing I can think of here is that he's going to try and really nail him. And he did. He tried to hit him so hard he lost the white.
Cruel game. Very cruel in cranking up because he thought giving it enough power the last twice. Ball in hand.
With Earl's experience, I really am surprised he didn't try it from the other side. Or at least change something up. Not a happy man right now. He just had it gift wrapped for him. And what do you think he's done? He's opened up the present and handed it right back to Luat. And once again, nothing difficult. If there is one stumbling block, it'll be in the shape of the orange 5. That's the only awkward ball on the table. And the reason it's difficult is because of where the pink 4 is. So if Rodolfo can't get behind it, what he'll do is you'll play the 5 onto the green 6. And this is a key shot. He's going to need lots of angle on that pink 4.
Draws the ball.
And now he's made his choice. He's either going to play for the combination or try and get onto the 5 top right.
Drawing it for the combination.
And where he's got the cue ball, this one's tough to miss. Look at that. Couldn't have hand placed that white into a better spot. This will be played nice and slow. Boy, he's made this look easy. Closer you get that cue ball to the object ball, Sid, the easier you make the shot. Oh, he got a little lucky there. He didn't intend that.
Didn't mean the kiss, but it's okay. He's certainly get the pot and position on the black fairly easily.
Well, he must have had an anxious moment there. Look at Earl. I wasn't sure that 7 was in either, Earl. But you know, every time that Strickland's had a chance to wrest the initiative away from Luat, he's turned it over to him. And really, as I said earlier, this has got to help Luat's confidence.
He's looking to see if it's running in off.
He's willing it to go in off.
Tough luck, Earl. Inch and a half light. This then for 5-3.
And Strickland can still applaud, though, as can they. Rodolfo Luat, 5-3, Sid. Just under halfway to the finish line. They're rounding the back stretch.
Earl we reckon if he ever gets a chance at another break, has to experiment. Power's not the answer.
Watch that white. Anxious moments.
Yeah, Rodolfo was not the only one worried about the white. Earl was hoping.
Rodolfo
Well, it was a bit of a mishit.
Leading by 5 racks to 3.
But lives to break here in rack number 9. And what a break. Have a look at this.
His confidence in the spot that he's hitting from.
That's why they call him Little Samson. Nothing down. And a chance at the 1 for Earl. Not an easy table here, though. The 2, the opposite end. Now does Earl try and run this around and dodge all those bullets? If he's going to get that cue ball back down for the 2, he can't contact any balls here. And he doesn't want to go in off either.
Skating on thin ice, Earl, but he's skating.
It almost looks like he can just run that cue ball straight through now. And once again, the natural angle is going to take that white up towards the 3. Where he's holding his cue there. That's where he's got to be to clear the orange 5 and leave that 3 on.
I don't think the crowd fairly knowledgeable.
And the reason that he didn't clear the orange 5 is because he didn't knock the 2 into the center of the pocket. It went in the shallow end.
Oh, hit and hope. Looks a snooker.
And not a bad one.
And he will be worried about the unproductive break, Strickland. It's awful sitting there, not being sure that your break shot is going to be productive, because you might get a few chances to have a go at it.
Foul.
Well, that's a glaring miss, that one. Rodolfo obviously just trying to contact that bottom end of the 3. Now, here we go, the 3-9 combination. Chance for 5-4.
Chance, certainty. Certainty. So, it's nip and tuck this. Strickland back to 5-4.
And in the hunt, Sid.
Coming up later.
Earl Strickland to break.
Meantime,
by 4 racks to 5.
Earl, the Pearl Strickland, is hanging in there against the fantastically talented Luat. And all the people in Manila will be hoping that Luat.
And look at this, Sid. Finally, he's moved the white. He's brought it over about 12 inches from the edge. We'll see if he can be successful here. Well, he's got the 9 moving, but still no friends.
All right.
But he did change it.
So he's changed the position and he's changed the speed. He's still under pressure on what he can do with his break.
He'll be thinking about that in his chair. What do I have to do to find the winning formula?
Get out of this one first.
Well, Rodolfo had an anxious look. He's definitely got the side cushion nearest the yellow 1 here. So Earl will be able to play into that 1 at speed here.
Isn't there a big danger of leaving it easy?
Always a danger of leaving it.
It's a race to 11.
This will be at speed. You can see the cue ball going back. Earl hit that perfect. He'd be very happy with that effort. Luat now kicking from the top cushion, or the left on our screen. Has he left it? I think so.
So, Earl didn't leave it easy. This is not 100% easy, but he's got chances here.
You know, Sid, when you look at the scoreline, 5-4 to Luat, that really bodes very well for Earl Strickland at the moment, because he has made a number of unforced errors, and here he is only one rack behind.
Exactly.
And a chance to tie it up.
And we all know how he can break once he cracks the code.
Not a lot right has happened for Strickland, and he's still right in the middle of this one.
That's what soccer teams say. Like my favourite, Newcastle United, it's good to win games when you play bad. Which, sad to say, happens more than we like.
That's the key to success. We've said it many times, not how good your good play is, it's how good your bad play is.
Feathers in the pink.
He's picked up the pace a little too. Ominous signs for Luat.
Brown top right. Low right hand English.
Just overran ideal position on this. He didn't want to have to go to the top cushion, but he does. I'll tell you what, he didn't hit that as hard as he'd like to have. This isn't a formality, this shot.
The cut's a little too thin for 100% satisfaction.
A good 9 and a confident visit from the Pearl. The first 10 racks are in the books, and nothing in it between these two great players.
Luat, number 3 in the fantastically talented Filipino pecking order, behind Bustamante and Reyes. I bet their coaching and have got a few quid on him.
Lot to think about too. A couple errors have crept into his game. Very uncharacteristic.
And we could be
Rack
at
11, Earl Strickland to break 5 racks each.
a fulcrumic point in the match. If Earl can get the break going.
Cue ball back to where he started. Earl got that one ball into the center, it looks like. That's one of the balls these players go after, either that one ball into either center or a wing ball into the corner pockets.
And it's almost incalculable how much it'll do him good to know that that shot happens.
Now he's got to clear this brown 7. Oh, he was willing that ball past the 7. Just when it looked like Strickland was going to start putting it together.
You can see absolutely disgusted with himself.
He's talking to himself right now, Sid. That's exactly what he's doing. Look at him willing that ball to move on.
He doesn't even care.
He's talking to somebody there.
This is self-disgust. How could I?
As it is, and this guy's wrapping the back like a plane.
Well, some noise obviously taking Earl off, and like I said, he walks a fine line, Strickland, between brilliance and a big question mark.
Between genius and sometimes a lack of cool.
But undeniably, one of the talents, one of the greatest talents that have ever been. Great shot from Rodolfo there.
And great shot, says Earl to him. So even though he's in turmoil about making a mistake himself, it doesn't take away his, well, appreciation of other shots by the other player. That takes great character not to let that be drowned out by adrenaline.
Like him or love him, Sid, they all come out to watch him.
Oh, I love him. Bottled dynamite, Strickland. Game tied up at 5 apiece for a place in the last 4 of the World Championship.
Ismael Paez already through to the semifinals. The winner of this match will face off with Paez.
And Chow of Chinese Taipei is also there. Cold-faced killer. Looking for more victims. The big tigers are loose in the jungle here at the Cardiff Arena now.
This is a race to 11 here. This our 3rd quarterfinal. And I think Luat's going to get away with this. Well, a nice applause, but I'll tell you what, he was lucky.
That was a great shot.
Strickland saying that was a great shot. Well, I'll tell you what, that's said probably as much in sarcasm as anything else, because Rodolfo got lucky here. That cue ball bouncing.
Really a good person. So when I'm on a pool table, I'm not that good.
Well, Earl, as usual, is trying to de-siphon some of his adrenaline by chit-chat with the crowd. I'm a good person. At the moment, I'm just not good at pool, which I think is an extremely ironic thing to make. A crack to make when you're in the middle of trying to get in the last 4 of the World Championship. He is on the edge. Oh, what a force shot that was! Magic!
Yeah, they love it, and so do we. He's the maestro of a little magic there.
If Harry Potter really wants to be a magician, this is the bloke to watch. And I mean Potter.
Now that cue ball is going to be coming off the 8. So Earl's going to have to be real careful here how he negotiates position onto the 6. Not bad.
Look, give up the potential here to get his nose in front. It's 5-5, but he's on stroke now.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to like this one.
Oh, there was no way I could have hit that.
He's now conducting an inquest on his shots with the crowd.
He said that one stopped just in time, but Earl's really having a little conversation with himself. And he even gave us a little shake of the head, didn't he? He can't believe it.
Should we take a mic out and let him commentate on this one himself? Could do, could do.
Well, he was commentating the first session of the day, and he's still commentating, but right now he can tell you, as can I, he is 6'5" in front of Rodolfo Luat. For the first time in this match, the Pearl has his nose in front.
And surely some of his A game to come.
Well, we'll see if Strickland alters the position that he breaks from. He was successful that time, but what a shot he played on the 3. Jumped over the 7 ball to get through to that 3. What a shot maker Earl Strickland can be.
One phase Luat at all. He's top draw.
Rack 12, Earl Strickland to break.
So with as
leading
much emotion
6
as you'll
racks
see
to
from this
5.
lad. Just a little shake, roll of the eyes. Haha, how unlike our own Pearl. Look at the eyes. Like an anaconda slithering towards a frog.
Not happy. What is normally a weapon of Earl Strickland's right now. His gun is in its holster. It's just not happening.
But do you get the idea? You won't fire blanks for long. Very, very bad miss. A clumsy shot by Luat.
Well, isn't it funny how Strickland has started to put a little pressure on, and all of a sudden Rodolfo starting to look very human and suffering.
Alive at Cardiff, getting towards the nitty-gritty stages of the World Pool Championships. And as I said, he ain't brought his A game to this one yet.
Pinch the pocket to hold position onto the 3. Now just bring the cue ball back into the center of the table, the pink 4 next. And looking at the position of the ball, Sid, if he gets on the pink 4 here, well, it's going to be staring a 7-5 lead right in the face. Got to get that cue ball around these.
That looks pretty hot position on the pink. Obsidian eyes. Crystalline talent. Boxo de Office Strickland.
He knocked in 10 racks in a row to win $1 million. So don't ever let anyone tell you he can't play under pressure.
Tells me it took all of 35 minutes.
Yeah, that's not a bad hourly wage. Oh, Earl. How could you do that? He can't believe it. Boy, oh boy. The simplest of positional shots.
Is that a curse word?
Looks like he's going to try and flick this in off the side cushion. That looks to be his only shot. Just into the side. He's going to try and kick at this 6. And I'll tell you what, Sid, to make it would be a bonus. To hit it and get it safe, he'd be delighted. Yeah, he went for it. He went for it full-blooded, and he's just giving this one to Luat. He's going to be sick in his chair.
My lad coming Perique. Sick as a parrot, because that one was there like apples in the garden. And here's the behind the back shot, which is no flash. Dynamically, good little loads of physics. Steady way to do it.
Cue ball just ran on a little too far, just the wrong side of the 7. Now he's going to go all the way around the table or leave himself a difficult 8, his choice.
Loads of topspin. All said, good shot.
Nice position there from Rodolfo.
Earl applauds.
6 apiece. We're more than halfway through this one. Strickland applauds. And we're in for a barn burner here in Cardiff. little something to tempt the pool playing palate, Sid. And the Pearl right now,
Rack 13.
with a lot to think about, suffering through that break. And what a golden opportunity he missed to go 7-5 in front of Rodolfo Luat. Instead, rack number 13 sees the Filipino number 3 ready to crack the whip.
Whip's cracked. Away, as Doris Day would put it. But don't think he's got a shot on the 2.
No, I think Rodolfo's looking for an area to push right now. Can't get through to that blue 2. Bit of a gambling shot to push out. This is a shot, for those of you that may not be aware, is perfectly legal after the break. He can play that cue ball into any area of the table that he desires. And the incoming player has the choice whether to accept the shot and take it or put Rodolfo Luat back in again. Yeah, he's just holding his hand near that corner pocket that the white is nearest. It looks like he's going to push it up table a bit, Sid.
So what's the likelihood of Earl accepting?
Well, I'll tell you what, Rodolfo's smiling. He rolled that cue ball up table and he was watching it turn in behind the 3. He almost buried that cue ball in behind the 3, if he hasn't. He's shaking his head. I'm not sure he hasn't. He has.
Well, you're not supposed to go to snooker. And there's the creme de la crop.
Yeah, there's Corey. He'll be coming up. Paul Pache, Reyes, they're all out there watching, enjoying this.
Whoops. But this lad is not enjoying the push out that turned into a bit of a nightmare. Earl sitting like a jockey.
Impossible to hit it.
All the way in.
Foul.
Deliberate foul.
Yeah, and he won't be happy with that shot either. He tried to lay that 4 on the 5, and he's really not done anything to Strickland. Cue ball in hand. That really was a slice of ill fortune for Luat.
Both of them neck and neck here. 6 apiece. They're trying to get in the last 4 of the tournament. Chow's already there. Paez is there. Davison duel to duel it out to get there. Meanwhile,
the position from the 3 to the pink 4 on the left-hand side. That's the shot that's going to hold the key to who wins and who loses this one. Either way, Strickland has forged an opening, more by his opposition's doing than his.
Stop.
Wanted it to stop more central. Has he got an angle to break them up? The orange and the pink?
He doesn't want to break them up. I think that 4, that pink 4 passes. So he doesn't need to do anything here, Sid. Just a good positional shot. Get the cue ball back into the center of the table. He's going to play it bottom left. And the 5's right there. So again, just follow through. Roll this through for the 5 top left next.
Feather and in off the knuckle. Sweet as a macadamia nut on the orange.
Straightforward now. Looks like the 13th is going to go the way of Earl Strickland. A lucky number for him.
Checks it to the top cushion, perfectly positioned for the 9. And a snidge ahead, 7-6.
And breaking in the 14th rack. He's made a lot of fans here in Cardiff, as he does wherever he goes. They appreciate the talent.
Yes, they are all a bunch of players of various degrees of achievement. Efren Reyes, batter. The Cabao to Cabao from the Philippines, Potier from Canada. Duel, who's going to be up soon against Davis.
Davis next.
Yeah, there's Reyes. He's letting us know he'll be playing Steve Davis.
Too. He's shaking.
We get a line of guys that Steve Davis not good.
Rack 14, Earl Strickland to
That
break.
should be a belt coming up later on.
6.
Right then again, Earl in uncharted territory. He's experimented with his break shot. He's tried power. He's tried change of angle into the pack. If he gets it right now, Luat could have a headache.
And Efren Reyes, he can thank Steve Davis for having to watch that on the outside monitor. If not for some terrific play, one of the highlight matches in this year's World Championship, a 9-8 win from 8-2 in front. Reyes was. Davis, a Houdini act in that one. Earl Strickland, the break has not been one of his weapons as one would have expected. Again, Luat back in with a chance on Strickland's break.
Blue in the middle. Straightens out nicely. Did he want more angle on this, Jim?
Very fidgety in his chair, Earl Strickland. Looks like bottom off the cushion. He's got to get back out for the pink 4. Not bad, Sid. Slightly short of ideal position, but not bad.
Open the angle out, coming off the cush with a white. Feather cut, you know, the knuckle. Crowd appreciating every innuendo, every touch of finesse.
Now with this, his choice to run through or draw back, and I think if I was him, I'd be running through, especially if I'm going to be stretching like he looks like he's going to be.
Yeah, top spin it is.
Now, if this is straight, all he needs to do is nail this and stop that cue ball in the same area the 6 is. That'll clear the 8 and leave the 7 on.
Smidge of angle and a little bit of draw, 4 inches to give him an improved angle on this brown.
That's one thing that is so noticeable with all the Filipino players. They could probably play any cue sport, any discipline they're going to be dominant in, because they deliver that cue so sweetly through the white.
Yes, it has not got to be a stab or a jerk. It's got to be a stroke. You shoot wherever you approach it, top or bottom or whatever, it's a stroke through the cue ball.
Like an extension of their arm, Sid. This 9. And once again, we're deadlocked here in this quarterfinal match. And Earl Strickland, he can put his hands together. That was a great finish from Rodolfo Luat. Luat will be all set to tee it up in the 15th rack.
There's Fabio Petroni. Very, very talented Italian player. Smile like a choir boy, but he ain't.
Well, if Earl does somehow manufacture to lose this
Rack
one,
15,
you'll be able to look back on nothing more than his lack of success at the break. That's been the storyline. There's been a lot of misses from him, but he's got a lot in return from Luat. It's just been the difference in the break between the two.
And Luat's returned the exact same centimeter on that head string and coordinate in exactly the same way with the break.
Rodolfo's having a good long look. This one may just pass bottom right. Doesn't have a full pocket, but there's one thing about it. The speed that he's going to play it, it looks as though he's got a little wall of balls to cover it if it doesn't go in. The 3 and the 8.
Each way bet then. There's shot on the 1.
And that's why he's looking at it, Sid, because he's got a little bit of an insurance policy here with the 3 and the 8. The other option would be to bank it.
Behind the wall.
I don't know whether or not he's left last year's paint out on the left-hand side of this one. Not today.
What's Earl's option here, Jim?
Well, it almost looks as though he's got to try and hit this. Well, you know what? This isn't that easy. From either side, I don't think he can get through to it. Almost between the 3 and the 8. It almost looks like if he got into this area with a lot of side, he can go between the 3 and the 8 to it. Now he's looking the other side. And in this one, he's got to miss. He's trying to hit right in here. There you go. That didn't look like it was on from the overhead camera. Something fell on the floor there. I'm not sure what it was, but
it's on now.
Yeah, it's definitely on now, Sid.
Tense, tight struggle. We knew their form and their potential, these two. Sorry, wrong word. It was both of them. We knew their talent. Red 3 and out to the middle of the table area. Withdraw for the pink. Maybe he needed a bit more on that.
Looking pretty comfortable. If he gets this, he's going to finish on the 5.
Super shots! And a lovely angle. Take it on the 6. 7's at the same end of the table.
You can see he just wants to stay below that 6 to leave the angle to get down closer to the brown 7. It's a race to 11. And Luat knows if he can complete the clearance of the last 5 here, he's going to be breaking 8-7 in front and really in a strong position, Sid.
And his break is being at least 70% more effective than Earl's. Why the delay?
Just wants to take time. He wants to be sure. He ended up the wrong side there, so now he's got a thin clip on this. Considerably tougher than he would have liked. I don't know why he traveled so far with the cue ball. In the last shot, he would still expect to get this, but missable.
Stroked around the whole table. The 15 to 20 feet travel, no bother to him. Just stunned across with a dead straight 9 and 8-7.
Into the heart of the pocket, and Strickland felt it like a bullet to his heart. Rodolfo Luat now 8-7 in front of the Pearl.
Coming up later, more top pool. We've got Steve Davis, who's going through champions like chaff in a cornfield against Corey Deuel.
Strickland under stress at the moment. 8-7 behind Rodolfo Luat. It's a race to 11. And he's got to try and sort things out here, Sid. He's got to put what's wrong
Rack
right.
16, Rodolfo Luat to break, leading by 8 racks to 7.
Kayla Tabb, top Scottish lady and referee, gets it going. And they'll be glued to their tellies in Manila, particularly in Angeles City, where Luat hails from.
Foul.
Scratches. Chance for Earl then.
Look at the eyes, darting around, checking out how the balls are positioned. Not easy for Earl here. Cue ball in hand with the foul. Now you can see the 2 is available. He's going to be able to put that cue ball anywhere he wants. All he's got to do is clear that pink 4. I'll tell you what, he's inches away from having gone too far, Sid. I think he can just get through to this 2, but only just.
He could have been 2 inches short. It is a game of millimeters and inches, this. He said that's the end.
Well, his body language tells me that he can't get through to it. It certainly looked like he could from our overhead perspective, but he didn't have much room. A gap of maybe 6 inches between that green and pink. Boy, he had to be precise there. I wonder if he can just spin that cue ball and just try and feather that 2 in. If he hits it, he should make it.
Oh, he's still there. You're glad, right?
And
I'll be glad when I'm ready for you.
still finding time to have a little repartee. Badinage with the crowd. Plain sailing if he gets it. Should be.
1 hurdle over. And he's going to have to get over another big one here, this red 3. Not much easier. And his body language is telling you all you need to know.
Benjamin Earl Strickland, as tight as a tick. Trying to get as loose as a piece of elastic. He's trying to flow into form here, but it's uphill. 8-7. Fantastically talented Filipino leads. Right English, bottom.
Didn't mind that. Even if it stayed, he was okay because he's on the 5. That's why he held the cue ball, Sid, just in case it followed the other one in.
How's the draw?
Slightly overhit, but shouldn't be any problems. You can see.
Wish this game could be like golf.
About 6 inches shorter would have been perfect position. Right in here, but he just traveled a bit too far. No problems though. You can chip this into the middle, go around, either play the 8 to either corner pocket. No problems, Earl.
Position elementary on the 9 as well. Here he comes.
But he's living or dying on every shot right now, Sid. And he's going to be breaking at 8-8. The 9 deposited. And the Pearl looking to please. Rack number 17 coming up. And I'll tell you what, if nothing else, he keeps you on the edge of your seat.
It's a little lad came down to get ringside, and Earl said, "Can't do that." think he went to get an autograph, and Earl's got something slightly more important than ego tripping on his mind.
Rack 17.
Finally,
to break.
he's on the left-hand side of the table. For the first time as he looks, he has moved the cue ball over. 16 racks have been played. He has had little, if any, success breaking. Let's see what happens here.
But Luat could be in trouble if Earl starts to get productive on the break.
Well, Earl, the way that you've been breaking in this one, I think you'd be better advised to just turn it over to Luat. Because it just hasn't been happening for you.
Comes to the break, he has not been in the Joy Luck Club. Feather cut, no! Bobble, bad mistake that! Well, Earl could surely not have dreamt of getting back into stroke so quick.
I'll tell you what, Sid, that one barely threatened the pocket. That was missed by a long ways.
Well, when you think of the jumble, the kaleidoscope of emotions and ideas in Earl Strickland's head, the fact that you can do a commentary, interplay with the crowd, and then his opponent starts making mistakes.
Well, Rodolfo Luat's played Earl many times in both ends of the world. He knows him as well as anybody.
That might have been the shot of a man who does know him that well and knows what he can conjure. And I mean conjure.
He's got only himself to blame right now. That miss couldn't have come at a more inopportune time. Earl forcing the white into the cushion there, but has he come far enough? It's a thinner clip than he would have liked. He'd like to make this and just avoid contacting the balls because the orange 5 is begging over the center pocket.
Marvelous, tense match. Unforced errors.
Well, he's played into the 7 to hold the cue ball. Looked like he'd have been able to just play top and weave through them. Either way, this is going to get the job done. Just a little quicker.
Chin to the cue, just like your granddad taught you, down the pool hall. And surely he could run a 3 because he's bound, you'd have thought, to get someone off the break sooner or later. He doesn't want to go right into the line. Ah! Well.
Oh, he's okay. Look at that. You can breathe again, Earl.
I guess they were cheering against that, weren't they?
Yes, Earl is convinced the crowd are on his side. This is... He's conducting a running commentary on the game. And the crowd are, I would say, 80% of them running for Earl. There's Ralsuke appreciating it. And Earl, you'd think he was Sir John Barbarelli at the proms.
He's trying to orchestrate a little bit of momentum from the crowd. Look at Earl the Pearl.
Like the guys in the hop, skip, and the jump at the Olympics who start the big hand clap.
9-8 in front. He's taken the last 2 racks.
What a showman. Barnum and Bailey would have had him in a cage charging a buck to see him dance. Earl Strickland going for glory. And as I suggest, surely the break's got to get lucky sometime.
Nine.
Lucky, I said! Jim, you can't
Look at him, Sid.
I mentioned that Lockheed have been having none on the break. Quarter time to smack down the 9.
afterwards. The 9 creeping into the corner pocket, and Strickland with a clenched fist, emphasizing the victory march.
Ah, the face of a pirate finding Long John Silver's box.
Veins popping out. And again,
19,
a carbon copy would be made
to
to order here for Earl Strickland.
I did say he had to get lucky sometime. But what a time, and what a way to get lucky. Here we go. Gets a slaughterous break there, but he's not on the 1.
Well, Rodolfo Luat will get back to the table. Of that, we can rest assured. What he'll make of his visit? Stay with us. This one is building to a crescendo.
It's almost indescribable. Roger's thesaurus, Charlie's thesaurus, Albert's thesaurus. Grab him, read him, and fling him away. No words for the sort of magic that happens with this man.
3 to play, Sid. Luat needs them all. A quick look, and he's put Strickland back in again.
I was hoping you would.
And Earl again, doing a commentary. Me and Jim could chuck the mics away and have a jar. He said, I knew he would put me back in. So, all right, if Earl's saying that, what's the plan? Aggression?
No, not from here, Sid. I really can't see him going after this ball. It almost looks like he's got to try and get that cue ball. Ideally, he'd like to get it in behind the 6, but if he can just bank that 1 off the cushion and back up the center, the cue ball should go towards the 6. That's what he's trying to do.
Has he left the bank into the middle?
Well, he tried to hide it. He took the sure safety instead of taking that cue ball back up the table. But I don't think that'll bank.
Strickland needs 1 rack to go into the last 4.
The looks here, if Rodolfo can get through to that yellow 1, he's going to have the same option, try and take the cue ball back into the area it is now and not leave the open 1 on. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to come down, have a look at this, because the 9's in close proximity here. He's looking at it, see the eyes going back and forth. He can almost go off this 1 and attack the 9 with the cue ball. There's an outside chance. Pot the 1 here. The cue ball's going to be coming right into the 9.
This is the man who did the 10 racks for the $1 million with a bank shot to finish. With the plant, rather. He just allowed to finish a game. It broke away from the cushion.
That was 1 kick at it. A shot to win the match right there. And it doesn't look like he's left Luat anything. Mind you, he may not enjoy his next visit.
Look, it's a tough hook.
And Earl surveying the situation here, and he's got a couple ways to get at this, Sid. He can either just go off 1 cushion. He can go off 2 cushions. Either way, This one's in the lap of the gods. I think 2 cushions is better here. The only problem with that is the green 6 comes into play. He can also take it off the top cushion here. Don't rule that out. That's a possibility too. So there's the 3 ways that he can go after that 1.
Oh my word. If it's the right way, it could be game over fairly soon.
Be dominated by the...
I think here Earl wants to take a flyer at this one, drop to his knees, and put it in the lap of the gods.
Well, the lap of the gods is a dodgy place for mere mortals, but is mortal.
The 2 cushion escape offers him a better chance to get it safe. But again, tougher to negotiate the angles.
Confident into a...
See, the 6 was always a danger ball going that way. It was always into the equation. And still, he's having a little chat with someone that seems to have gotten his ire up.
No, I think it's a little lad who keeps waving an autograph book at him.
Now it looks like Rodolfo can just pocket this into the center and draw the cue ball back for the 2 to the same pocket.
Remember, Strickland, you take this rack, he's through to the last 4.
And now he's just got to pull the cue ball back and play the 3 into the top right corner as we look. Well, he's not ready to throw in the towel yet, Sid. Luat looking to be breaking here, 10-9 back.
You don't get mentioned in the same breath as Bustamante and Reyes. If you ain't got buckle, this bloke will fight Strickland all the way.
It's been a thoroughly entertaining match, though, and nobody leaving their seats. But without a doubt, the thermostat is being turned up. 9 down, and 19 racks have been played here. The narrowest of margins. Strickland 10-9 in front, wants 1 more for a place in the semifinals.
And up to now, you'd put your money in this lad getting them off the break rather than Earl.
Well, Rodolfo knows 1 good break off, and he'll have forced a hill-hill match, 10-10. But here, with Strickland failing to escape.
Rack 20, Rodolfo Luat to break.
That allowed
trailing by
Luat
9
in
racks to 10.
To clear up.
That's concentration rather than sounds like starts with a D. Gets productive. Shot on the 1.
Well, he's got a shot at it. Whether or not he's going to take it on, I don't know. This is a real thin clip into the corner pocket. Top right. And this is everything here, Sid.
10-9 down. Will you try this for the tickle, Jim? He's missed it.
That was everything, that shot. And that could well be Rodolfo Luat's last shot in this year's World Championship. Because
the minute you saw it, Jim, you said it was risky.
Everything's in the open here, Sid. I think Luat's played his last shot. I think Strickland's going to clear up here and book an appointment with Mexico's Ismael Paez.
The Pearl against the amazing jumping Bean. What a clash. That would be. Got a hand it to Strickland after looking very dodgy on the break shot. Got the 9 down when it counted straight from the break.
No one gets to the finish line like this man.
A little bit of extraneous noise. Earl hesitates, pounces.
This is the key shot. The last chance for Luat.
And this is double-edged. They've been saying the Americans are not top dogs to the Filipinos. A lot of pride in Earl's performance here.
I don't hear any clowns that are yelling now.
I don't want to hear any clowns yelling. But the clowns on the tightrope walker can yell as much as they like now after a blinding match in which he never looked to be favourites. Earl acts like a gladiator who's put 10 Christians in a box.
And next up, folks, Steve Davis, a world beater in this event. He'll be up against young Corey Deuel.